Android Marshmallow release date is upon us. Android 6.0 is rolling out now to the Nexus 5, 6, 7, 9, and Nexus Player as an OTA update, though you can also install the factory image. The new version of Android will also arrive on the Nexus 5X and Nexus 6P flagship phones. Read on for more details. Android Marshmallow is now closer to its release date than ever, thanks to its new official name, official press event and a bevy of confirmed new features to all manner of Google-powered phones. Battery life improvements, greater app permission controls, standardized support for fingerprint scanners, more granular volume controls, USB-C support, and new Google Now features are all part of a mix that makes this an exciting upgrade for users, but is your phone actually going to get it? It's now known as Android Marshmallow after internally being called Android Macadamia Nut Cookie, and it's well on the way to launching, with a more themed September 29 launch event, according to Google. But do remember that when Android Marshmallow does launch you won't necessarily have instant access to it, as it's down to device manufacturers and, in some countries like the US, carriers to spend time with the new software before imbuing their phones and tablets with it. If you're using a Nexus device you're most likely to get the update first, and some other manufacturers such as Motorola are also good at sending out their updates fast. To make the rollout less of a mystery, here's the latest, and constantly updated information, on when Android Marshmallow is likely to land on the various devices out there. Google and Nexus. Google's Nexus devices will naturally be the first to get Android Marshmallow. One of their biggest selling points is speedy updates and stock versions of Android. When the Nexus 5X and Nexus 6P arrive they'll be toting the software. Nexus 6. Google has started rolling out the update to the Nexus 5, Nexus 6, Nexus 7, 2013, Nexus 9, Nexus Player and the whole range of Android One smartphones. Samsung did a pretty good job of getting Android Lollipop onto its phones rapidly, so we'd expect to see it start appearing in major handsets like the Samsung Galaxy S6, Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge and Samsung Galaxy Note 4 shortly after launch. It turns out that the company's newest phones, Samsung Galaxy Note 5 and Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, aren't shipping with Android Marshmallow, after all. So expect these phablets to be in line for the update, too. Galaxy S6. The Samsung Galaxy Alpha and older flagship devices like the Samsung Galaxy S5 are likely to get the Android Marshmallow update too, though they may have to wait a little longer. Anything older than the Samsung Galaxy S5 is a bit more up in the air as to if or when they'll get Android Marshmallow, but it's a distant possibility that the likes of the Samsung Galaxy S4 and Samsung Galaxy Note 3 will get it. Both of these high-end phones were updated to Android Lollipop, though they'll both be more than 2 years old by the time Android Marshmallow arrives, so we wouldn't hold our breath. As for tablets, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S range has been updated to Android 5.0 and is recent enough that we'd expect an Android Marshmallow update. The Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 may well get an update too, but we're not optimistic about the chances of most other Samsung slates. The Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1, 2014, is still on Android KitKat for example, despite being relatively recent. It's possible that it will simply skip Lollipop and move straight to Android Marshmallow, but there's nothing to suggest that's the case. HTC tweeted out what phones will be getting the update pretty quickly. Let's hope it's a similar affair for the actual release. Before the end of the year the HTC One M9 and HTC One M8 will see the release of the software. HTC One M9. It'll also be updating the HTC One M9 Plus, HTC One E9, HTC One E9, HTC One Me, HTC One E8, HTC One M8i, HTC Butterfly 3, HTC Desire 826, HTC Desire 820 and HTC Desire 816. There's no official word on what it'll be coming though. It may be 2016 for that line of devices. HTC started rolling out Android Lollipop to its flagships within 90 days of its arrival, so we could well be in for a similar time frame here, in which case it may start arriving sometime in December 2015. Sony has updated us on what phones will be getting the Marshmallow update, and the Xperia Z1 will be missing out this time. The full list includes the Xperia Z5, Xperia Z5 Compact, Xperia Z5 Premium, Sony Xperia Z3 Plus, Sony Xperia Z3, Sony Xperia Z3 Compact, Sony Xperia Z4 Tablet and Sony Xperia Z3 Tablet Compact. Xperia Z3. The Xperia Z2, Xperia Z2 Tablet, Xperia M5, Xperia C5 Ultra, Xperia M4 Aqua and Xperia C4 are also getting it. There's no word on when the Xperia range will start getting updated, and Sony is well known for doing it slowly. It may be quite the wait. LG has stated that it won't be bringing Android 5.1 to the LG G3, which has led to speculation that it will jump straight to Android Marshmallow, but we've heard nothing concrete to substantiate that. However, we'd be surprised if LG abandoned its 2014 flagship though, so it's believable. The LG G4 will, of course, get Android Marshmallow, and it may do so quite quickly, as LG started rolling out its Lollipop update soon after the final version of the software was available. LG G4. The rumored LG G4 Pro may even launch with Android Marshmallow depending on when it arrives, though if not, that will likely get updated quite quickly. We'd expect the LG G Flex 2, LG G4C, and other fairly recent LG phones will get Android Marshmallow eventually too, though they'll probably have to wait longer than the G4. It's even possible that the LG G2 will get it, but we wouldn't count on it. Motorola. As Motorola's phones run a version of Android which is almost stock, there tends to be an expectation that they'll receive updates in a timely fashion. Sadly, there's no update on when that'll be yet. Moto X. Android 5.1.1 is the software for the Moto X style, Moto X Play and Moto G 2015, but all the phones will eventually see the Android Marshmallow software as well. It'll also come to both the 2014 and 2015 versions of the Moto X Pure Edition, the 2014 Moto G and Moto G with 4G LTE, as well as the European version of the Moto X 2014. On top of that, it'll also come to the Moto Max, Moto Turbo, Droid Turbo, and the Nexus 6. OnePlus. OnePlus eventually brought Android Lollipop to the OnePlus One, but it wasn't very fast about it, and with the OnePlus 2 now launching and a new OS just out the gates, we wouldn't be surprised if the company was a bit busy to be thinking about Android Marshmallow just yet. OnePlus One. That said, we expect some version of it will arrive on the OnePlus 2 and possibly even the OnePlus One eventually, but probably not until sometime in 2016. Huawei. If you've got a Huawei device, you might have quite a weight on your hands for Android Marshmallow, as the majority of its devices are still on Android KitKat or earlier. Huawei IP8. The Huawei IP8, Huawei IP8 Max and Honor 4X are probably among the most likely handsets to get the update, but even then it may take a while. Asus. Zenfone 2. Asus is another company which often isn't particularly speedy with its updates. The Zenfone 6, Zenfone 5, and Zenfone 4 are only just getting Android Lollipop, for example, but nevertheless they are being updated, so we'd expect relatively recent Asus handsets like those ones, and the Zenfone 2 will eventually see Android Marshmallow. ZTE. ZTE doesn't always bother to update its phones, so if you have one you may have to make do without Android Marshmallow, though the newer and higher profile it is, the better your chances of getting the upcoming Android release. Blade S6. So there's a chance the ZTE Blade S6 and the US-focused ZTE Axon will get the update, but the ZTE Blade V and ZTE Blade Q Mini, for example, probably won't.